Well, obviously we was arrested by the Northern Alliance because we was in Afghanistan and we was in Afghani. That was the first reason. Then, from what I've heard, is they sold the foreigners in Afghanistan to the Americans for $35,000 each. In 2001, my friend went to Pakistan to get married. I went along with him, after him, as to become the best man. We had time to tour the country, so we decided we wanted to go to Afghanistan. We got to Afghanistan when the Taliban was in power. We was there for maybe 2-3 months. We got stuck because of the bombing, and the Northern Alliance had taken over. Once the Northern Alliance had took over the country, they arrested us because we was foreigners. When we was in Kunduz in the north of Afghanistan, we was with the Taliban government. So when we had to leave, there was a Taliban training camp there, which we went. This is not something that's new. It's old. We've always have said this, that we was with the Taliban government. We was in Kunduz. We used to go to the Taliban training camp because, number one, for information, what's happening, because we couldn't leave that province. We couldn't leave. So the only way to get information was to go to this place and go to this place. So it was a Taliban training camp, and we did go. So, but it's different going to a Taliban training camp and fighting, and going there and visiting and getting information of what's happening to the government, why we're here, how we're going to go home. It's totally different. Well, before I went to, obviously, Guantanamo, the world was peace. As everyone, England, Spain, Italy, we was all progressing, we was getting used to having different kind of people in our countries. I mean, UK is at least 20-30 years in front of Spain, because it's a very multicultural society. But obviously Spain is not as much, but them getting there. But since 9/11, things have gone backwards. Instead of progressing forward, we're coming backwards, because we are facing more racism after 9/11, after 7/7, after July 7, and the bombings in Madrid. So, instead of progressing, again, to accept each other and value each other's beliefs, we are going backwards. And who do we blame for this? We blame America. We have to blame America, because America are the ones who are creating all the issue. They have created a war in Iraq for no reason. They went in for saying they have weapons of mass destruction, and there is no such thing. Okay, and they go to Iraq and they cause problems, and they call the Iraqi people terrorists, who are fighting for their freedom. They don't want occupation by the Americans. Okay, it's simple. If Spain went to America and tried to tell them how to live their life, they would fight. You cannot call them terrorists or insurgents in their own country. You can't do that, right? But Americans, they call everybody who is against them or their way of thinking, ideology, terrorist. Simple as that. But if you go to the eastern side of the world, you go to Pakistan, Iraq, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, they'll all say America is the terrorist. So it depends where you're from. The West will say they are terrorists, and they will say they are terrorists. So in my opinion, I think the world is not progressing. It's going backwards, and I blame America for that. So one day it might be your brother. They might say he's a terrorist, and they say he's from ETA, from the Basque people, and take him and put him in prison because they don't like him. Or it can happen. People think, oh, we live in the West and it might not happen, but it happened to me. Okay, and I was born and bred in the UK. Okay, I never would ever believe that America, out of all countries in the world, who are supposed to be champions of justice, the protectors of peace, would take me to Guantanamo and keep me there for 2.5 years and torture me. I would never have imagined. If you ask anybody before 9/11, would America ever do this? They would say, no, it's impossible. America would never do this. So now we see, no matter how much the country says is democratic, they can do that. Well, we hope so. We hope that if he comes in power, he's got a good chance of coming in power. And if he closes Guantanamo, then it's very good. But I hope that he is not using Guantanamo as a tool to win the votes, as a bait. Guantanamo is a bait, and everybody hates. The majority of American the people, they are against Guantanamo, against Iraq. So maybe he's using this as a tool. We don't know, but I hope he's not.